Hello and welcome to all our viewers from around the world. I'm Cristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at Gold Midwifery and Gold Learning. And with me here today is one of our speakers for our upcoming Gold Midwifery online conference of 2022. And it's Cristen Pascucci. Welcome, Cristen.
Hi.
Oh,
Hi. Thanks for having me.
it's lovely to have you here today. And you'll be presenting at the conference about a very important topic, obstetric violence, and how birth professionals can help to prevent, identify, and address it. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. And I'm so excited that you're going to talk about this. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how did you become passionate about this topic?
Okay, sure. So I have a 10-year-old son now, and he's my only child. And when I got pregnant with him, I didn't know anything about birth or, children or newborns. And I just went to an obstetrician just by default. In the US, that's pretty normal. And then I discovered nurse midwifery while I was pregnant. And switched to a nurse midwife, and was I was really surprised at how different the care was, and I loved it. And then, at the end of my pregnancy, I got a little bit of a bait and switch with that midwife. So she wasn't, I don't think, exactly forthcoming with me about, the services she was willing to provide. So I ended up switching to another nurse midwife at 41 weeks and 6 days. And I had my baby the next day, and everything was great. But I was just really kind of stunned at, the different levels of the different attitudes and the different perspectives and the different standards of care that I experienced with these different providers. And I was upset that I felt like I had been lied to by the first nurse midwife. And so I started looking into that, and I started poking around, and I realized that that was a really, really common story that a lot of people were saying, that they felt maybe manipulated, not fully informed when it came to their maternity care. So I started looking into my rights, my legal rights, and that led into getting involved with human rights in childbirth, and all the rest of it. So I just kind of like fell down the hole of the topic from there.
Absolutely fascinating. Thank you for sharing, first of all, your very personal story with us here, about your experience there, and taking, the steps too, to doing your research after your experience, right? Doing the work, doing the research, what is right, what are your rights, and now you are offering that that research and your work to other people, parents as well, because you did take that step and were able to see, wait a minute, this was not okay, this is I felt, this is violating my rights. And how many families experience that, and they don't know, right? They just feel like something isn't right, and then they often end up blaming themselves. Oh, why do I feel like this? Why I have a healthy baby, and I should be happy, but why do I have this feeling that something that I felt violated? So they're coming to this point. It's a bad experience, maybe not even like the extreme cases that we see, right? Like where we know, oh, this is a clear case of obstetric violence, but other things that are not so clear, but where the woman or the family experience, or the birthing person experiences that and questions themselves, and then being told, well, what do you want? You have a healthy baby, be happy. Why aren't you happy? And then questioning themselves, is something wrong with me? Why do I feel like this, right? So your work is so incredibly important to for these families, and also for healthcare providers, because you're offering training courses, right? Talk a little bit about that and how this came to us.
Okay, well, first I just wanted to say that one of the things, one of the really important aspects here that like you made such a great point that, and actually I would say most obstetric violence is not clear cut physical
Mhm.
assault, where someone would look at that and say, that was clearly, a violation of that other person. And it took me a lot of years to admit that I had been a victim of obstetric violence
Mhm.
because nothing actually happened to me. I was only threatened with something, and I was, pushed and coerced and pressured.
Mhm. Mhm.
And 10 years later, I can think back on that day that it all culminated and cry about it,
Mhm.
which says something. But for years, I thought, well, I couldn't be traumatized. No one even touched me.
Mhm.
I found a new provider. I went somewhere else. But I did spend, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 hours one day in panic mode, thinking that I was going to have to submit to a major procedure that I didn't want or need, and,
Yeah.
felt betrayed and all these other things. So, anyway, I just want to say that, and also just to link that with birth trauma, and trauma in general. A threat doesn't have to be realized in order for it
Mm.
to be traumatic.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. So, all that said, um, yeah, I now teach a course on legal and human rights in childbirth in the US. And I teach that also through evidence based birth. And I partner with a couple of doula organizations. So, I think doulas are kind of a front line
Mhm.
for the general population.
Yeah.
And like you said, most parents have no idea that this is even something they would need to know about.
Mhm.
So I think it's really up to those of us who are passionate advocates, whether it's, midwives or doulas or childbirth educators or, you know, family physicians or whoever it is, to let people know that they do have rights and they deserve to be respected.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely. Oh, well,
yeah.
thank you for sharing that. It's such an important work. Where can our viewers find you to find out more about the courses you're offering?
Sure. Birthmonopoly.com.
Birthmonopoly.com. Thank
Yep.
you so much for putting that out there for us to
Sure.
check into. Yeah, and yeah, there is so much that midwives. You brought up doulas. I love doulas. Love working with them. I think they're phenomenal. They're wonderful, wonderful in what they're doing, and equipped. They being equipped with that knowledge to advocate for their clients and also teach their clients, inform them about what's going on, what could be possibly happening, and what their rights are is phenomenal. It's really great. And I have to tell you, even as midwives in the midwifery model of care, I'm a out of hospital midwife, so it's still there is still so much work to be done, even in our field, and
Yeah.
not because of malice that we want to hurt anybody, or obviously not, because we pick this
Yeah.
as a calling, as a passion, because and still, even in our well-meaning way, there is still
Sure.
so much to learn and to improve, and that's
Yeah.
that's why we are so happy to have you here, because I know most of our viewers who are watching the presentations and coming to the midwifery conference, they know they have their heart on the right place,
Right.
and doing the utmost to not violate anybody's rights, and don't do any obstetric violence at all, but even for them it is important to watch this, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, so much of maternity care practice is just handed down,
Yeah.
generation after generation. And naturally you unquestioningly do what you're taught to do. And you can have your heart in the right place and still do something that might, accidentally or unintentionally harm someone.
Hmm.
Or it might be harmful to one person who's especially vulnerable and
Hmm.
doesn't bother someone else at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of space there to become more aware about how, how we're treating people, how it impacts them. And I think, especially with midwives, most midwives I know come at it from not only like a really great perspective of not only I don't want to violate my patient's rights, but
Right.
I want my patient to have the best possible, healthiest,
Exactly.
safest experience.
Yeah.
And so this is really bringing in more of a psychological health and wholeness and an emotional health and wholeness aspect to that. So, and also I think obstetric violence is so ingrained in our culture
Hmm.
all around the world. It's
Yeah.
very difficult to pick out like the little strands of obstetric violence.
Yeah.
Um, it has been a learning experience for me, having to make mistakes and then realize,
Yeah.
the way I'd been doing something. Sorry, that's
That's okay.
Polly. That must be the mailman.
Yeah. That's so good. Yeah. Yeah.
Polly, come here. She'll do this for a minute until.
Yeah, that's all good. And yeah, and you brought up a very good point. Yeah, it is ingrained, and not just a topic that is, of course, important, or prevalent in the United States. It's a worldwide issue, for families, all parents all around the world. So that's why this topic is important to, and no matter where you practice or live, to watch this presentation. So thank you so much, Cristen, for sitting down here and spending time with me here and
Sure.
talking about the topic. And can't wait to see you at your live day during the
Yeah, me too. This is going to be fun, believe it or
Yes.
not. I
This
love
is
talking about this stuff.
That is good, and it's a serious topic, but
Yeah.
I know you will break it down for us, so in a great way, so we can take pieces from it and implement it in our practice. So thank you so much,
Yeah.
and for our viewers, this presentation.
You muted yourself.
So thank you so much, Cristen, for sitting down here with me and talking about this very important part. Can we stop for a moment? Sorry. Thank you so much, Cristen, for sitting down here with me. Can't wait for this important presentation here at Gold. And for our viewers, if you're interested to learn more about this presentation here and the other presentations, we invite you to visit goldsmidwifery.com. This presentation will be live on February 15th, but all the presentations in the conference are recorded. So if you are out catching a baby or otherwise busy, you will be able to watch the presentation at your leisure. And thank you again, Cristen. And we hope to see you all at the conference. Bye-bye, everyone.